On our first trip to Europe, we took the bus from London, went over to France, and then on to Holland. Later we drove across Europe, and this movie is all about our adventures in Italy. Our tour in Italy brought history alive as we visited places that we had only read about. We took a ferry to Venice and cruised around the islands. There were so many magnificent buildings to look at. We then went on foot and crossed over many little canal bridges on our tour. We visited a glass-blowing factory where we saw the artisans creating all sorts of things out of glass. We were also provided with lots of entertainment, such as musicians playing to the crowds and people eating in the plazas, listening, or people just walking by. We loved the rainbow houses in Venice. Houses painted orange, yellow, green, pink, blue, etc., all standing next to each other. It was so colourful and so interesting. We had a marvellous ride on the canals in a gondola and took in the wonders of Venice. We then went for another walk exploring the streets and markets of Venice. Wendy bought a lovely lace tablecloth and a number of t-shirts while she was there. We had a marvellous lunch at one of the restaurants and then continued our walk. One of the highlights in Venice was when we witnessed an Italian outdoor wedding with 3 tenors entertaining the crowd. We also visited a glass-blowing factory and watched them as they mastered their art. After Venice, we moved on to Rome and experienced very heavy traffic. We also saw lots of graffiti. It was a bit like being back in Melbourne, unfortunately. We visited places like the Vatican and the Colosseum. The Renaissance artwork in places like the Vatican was marvellous. We toured the buildings in awe as we knew so much of its history. I was able to take photos of the Vatican gardens through an open window. The artwork in the Sistine Chapel was awesome. Even the ceilings were covered in beautiful frescoes. We saw the Swiss guards on duty as they have been doing for over 500 years. Standing in St. Peter's Square was awesome, and St. Peter's Cathedral was so large you could put our St. Patrick's in it many times over. We were also very impressed with its Renaissance artwork. Later we went to the Colosseum. What magnificent structures they must have been in their day. The blood of so many was spilt in this area, and the excitement of the chariot races and other exhibitions would have been awesome. The timber floor of the Colosseum has long rotted away, but it is easy to see where they housed the animals, gladiators, Christian martyrs, and so on. The Romans were the first superpower, and they certainly showed it with buildings like the Colosseum. We visited Florence, another beautiful town, and saw magnificent Renaissance artwork. What a beautiful city it is, with its magnificent buildings and artwork. We hope you enjoyed sharing our tour through Italy. It is a magnificent country to visit with so much to see. We would love to go back and see even more.